Hey YouTube, Joshua here at saltyscales.com. So out here at the park, it's relatively breezy today. We have a cold front, our first cool front of the year coming through. And Florida weather's crazy, guys. It seems like we skipped from summer straight into winter, completely missed that fall season. Anywho, one of the more popular questions that I receive in my inbox quite frequently, and I think it's due to my fine-tuning my baitcaster video, is why do you get a backlash? And how do you avoid it? So what I want to do is touch base today and show you the simplicity of the baitcaster, maybe give you a little bit more direction and understanding as to why you get those backlashes, bird's nest, some even call them rat's nest. So let's dive in and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so as I've mentioned in other videos with my baitcasters, the biggest and the most significant key point that I can reiterate is to practice. Practice makes perfect, guys. I don't care how many videos, how many of my videos or anyone's videos for that matter that you watch, it's not going to improve your skill. If you go out there and you spend a solid hour doing and using the techniques that I show you in both this video and my previous videos, I guarantee you'll be casting in no time. But you have to use the techniques. You have to go out and do it. The baitcaster is a very simplistic tool. There's only a few things that you really have to focus on in order to achieve no backlash. One of the primary things that you have to focus on is the tension knob. And the tension knob allows you to adjust the spool or the tension of the spool. And this pretty much prevents it from either rotating too quickly or slowing down the spool ultimately, so that way the line is not coming off quicker than the spool rotates. Pretty simple, right? So the two things, the tension knob and the brake control, and ultimately your thumb, is what prevents the bird's nest. Now, as you become, more and more efficient with your reel, you can loosen your tension knob and you can turn your brakes down to get longer casts. And that's what that's going to allow you to do. Now you can see, again, the reason you get bird's nest is because that line is coming off the spool at a rapid pace, like so. So you get this ugly, ugly bird's nest. Now I'm going to tell you, a bird's nest is a byproduct, period, guys. You're going to get them. I don't care how good you are. I don't care if you're Mike Iaconelli, Kevin Van Dam, or you're just starting or you've been using it for 20 years. They're going to happen. We have our off days. We have our good days. So don't think you're never going to get a bird's nest. If you never want a bird's nest, you might want to pick up a spinning reel. So I'm going to get this bird's nest out and I'm going to show you some of the settings. Most manufacturers recommend that you use a 3/8 ounce or so weight in order to calibrate or fine-tune your baitcaster. I'm using a little crankbait that's already on here, so I'll show you and demonstrate with this. As you can tell, when I open or engage the bail here, the bait falls far too rapidly. That means if I was to not thumb the bait and allow it to hit the ground, I would get a nasty bird's nest. Alright, so you can see that I've engaged the reel and the lure is not descending to the ground. So now my objective is to turn the tension knob left to loosen until it slowly starts to descend to the ground. Now you can see it's made its way there and I don't have a bird's nest. Now you probably want to speed it up just a tad, so let's redo it. We'll loosen it a little more and still no bird's nest. So that is the ideal setting if you're a novice with the baitcaster to help prevent bird's nest. Again, what causes the bird nest is that the spool spins too rapidly with no control. Now let's say we completely remove the tension knob off of here and do the same thing. So there's no tension at all on the spool. Now watch. Oh, it's still spinning. I had to stop it because that sucker would have spent to the core. So there you go. You get your bird's nest that we all dread. So here we are. There's two things or two settings that primarily interfere with the backlashes. One being the brake system. On this particular one, you can see it's a centrifugal brake, which uses plastic weights that are forced outwards against the circular rim in here as the spool spins. And the faster that it spins, the harder it pushes to brake this spool. Now the other primary brake system that you see that's very popular is the magnetic brake system. And this works on a system called the Lenz's law, which in layman's terms means that the spinning of the aluminum spool is slowed by a magnetic field, and the magnets are pushed closer or further from the spool based on the settings. Now, this is adjusted here typically with just a few clicks, or you could turn them on and off. For example, in this particular reel, the Corrado, you could see that they have an off setting or an on setting, and there's 4 of them. You could turn them all on, you could turn half of them off. You know, it just depends on how fast you want the spool to rotate. Close it, they're all pretty similar. You just rotate them, pop them right back into place using the little lever that's on the bottom of the reels. Alright, so the tension knob is probably the most vital thing when it comes to tuning it to prevent or what's causing the backlashes. What I like to do is turn it until your lure does not come down at all. Alright, so right now my bail or the reel is engaged and the lure is not descending. So that's all because of the tensioner knob. Now as I slowly turn the tensioner knob, you can see that now the lure has descended to the ground. So once again, I'm not thumbing it. This lure touches the ground without the spool bird's nesting. Once again. Okay, it's a little slow, so maybe we want to speed it up just a tad. Turn it left. Now I got a little bird's nest right there. So maybe now I want to tighten it just a little bit. Still, no bird's nest. So that is a good setting for this particular lure. So I know this touches on what we've already discussed a little bit in the previous videos, but I wanted to explain exactly what causes the backlash, because even though I made those videos, you obviously still have a lot of questions, and I hope this answers them. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe. Hey, if you're a baitcaster expert, chime in below and help these guys out. What causes a backlash? What are some tips that you could provide to help prevent bird's nest, rat's nest, or backlashes? Until next time, guys, I'll see you on the water.